More with chords, basic chords. Showed you the C chord last time. Hopefully it sounds something like this now. Today I'm going to show you the D chord and the D minor chord. One thing about labeling chords, if somebody says, play me a D chord, and you're wondering, well gee, does he mean minor or major? By default it's major. Unless they say minor, play major. Same thing with reading music and so on and so forth. So we're going to learn the D chord and the D minor, starting with the D chord, D major. That's what it sounds like. Here's how I play it. I'm going to play the D string, which is the 4th string open. So on your tablature sheet, it's going to look like 4th string, 0 fret. 0 is open, which makes that sound. Then I'm going to take my index finger and I'm going to place it on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. This gets a little bit tricky because you're making sort of a triad with your 3 digits here. So you've got the index finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and the ring finger is going to be on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. So you got this so far. Got open. And now you're going to take your middle finger and place it on the 1st string, 2nd fret for that note. So altogether, it's going to sound like this. Go ahead and try it out. Make those minor adjustments that you need to so that all the notes sound out. Again, like in last lesson, when you were trying to figure out that C chord, you got to make sure that your fingers are arched and that you're arching enough and in a way that doesn't mute out the other strings. It is really difficult at first, believe me, I know. But obviously it's doable. There's a lot of people that have learned how to play these chords perfectly. So you just have to practice and you will get it, especially as it becomes less painful. Even if you're not getting it yet, but if you aren't getting it yet, obviously your fingers are still hurting and that could very well be why. So as your fingers develop those calluses, these chords will become easier, and making those adjustments to really play these chords cleanly will be a lot easier. So just keep at it and keep toughening up your fingers and making those adjustments to make this comfortable and to get these chords to sound out correctly. So here's that D chord. Now we're going to play D minor. Now you're going to switch 2 of your fingers. Your ring finger, keep where it's at on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. You're going to switch your index finger and your middle finger. In other words, your index finger is going to be on the 1st string and your middle finger is going to be on the 3rd string. But the frets are going to be different too. So take your index finger and place it on the 1st string, 1st fret. And because you haven't moved your ring finger, you're going to keep that where it's at on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. And your middle finger is going to be on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And the D string, which is the 4th string, is still open. So here's what it's going to look like, starting with the D note, the bass note. That's it. There's really only one note difference between this and the major chord. So the D major sounds like this, D minor. It's just changed the whole atmosphere of the chord, the way that it sounds. So even though there's only one note that's being changed to turn it from a major into a minor, you're flip-flopping 2 of your fingers. And the note that was being played on the 1st string is the note that's different. You're just playing the note that's next to that. The note that's flat of that, which is a half step flat. A half step is 1 note. And that's how you go from major to minor. In fact, it's pretty universal. Whenever you're dealing with major and minor, when it's just a basic major or minor chord, the difference between them, the deciding difference is 1 note. and it's usually the third tone of that scale that it's based off of. It's flat by a half step, and we'll get into that more later. But it's good to know that even beforehand, before we get into that kind of theory. So I want you to practice switching between those two chords, the major and the minor. You got this one? And that one. I also want you to switch between them as chords, also like this. So I'm going to play this with the metronome now. I'm going to play this 3 notes per click. 3 notes per click is a triplet. 1 note per 1 click, remember, is a whole note. 2 notes per click is an 8th note. 4 notes per click, 16th notes. Now I'm going to play 3 notes per click, which is a triplet. And I think I showed that before in a previous exercise. In fact, this one was using triplets, remember? And there were 4 exercises based off of that, so triplets aren't anything new to you. And I'm going to slow this down. I'm going to slow it down to 50. See what that sounds like. We're just going to alternate between those two chords, the D major and D minor. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now you can also do this as chords, like I said. You might switch chords every click, or maybe every couple clicks. I'll start with every couple clicks first. That's it. So practice that. It's difficult at first, but after you get used to it, this is a very, very simple chord change. So just practice it every day, and before long it'll be simple for you as well. And one more. Actually 2 more, but based off the same thing. It's going to be based off of a previous lesson. This one, or this one, depending on how you're fingering that. But I'm going to just extend those notes. It's going to sound like this. So it's triplets still, it's just a different pattern, and I'm extending the notes a little bit. Before I stopped here, and then I went back down. Now I'm going up to here. And then I'm going back down, but in a pattern like this. I'm not just going up and down, because that doesn't work out evenly on the clicker. It doesn't work out in 2 notes, 4 notes, 3 notes. But if I do this, it works out beautifully. And this is going to be in tabs too, so that you can see exactly how it's done. I'm not adding anything tricky here. It's going to be the same fingers that you've been playing these exercises with all along. And it'll all be in tabs for you. But I'm going to play it along with the metronome real quick right now so you can hear what it sounds like. I'm going to play it 3 notes per click. I'll play this at 55. What that sounds like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm going to do it the other way now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and So in one exercise, I start by ascending and then descending. And on the next one, I'm playing the same notes, but I'm just starting on the descend and then ascending back up again. And I can loop around over and over and over again for one of the circular type exercises, which are great for writing down in your journal and documenting and showing progress over time. So this is another great one for the journal. Write it down. And that concludes this lesson before I start overwhelming you with too much information. So look forward to the next one.